told you not to click on this video and you still clicked on it. What in the flippin' flapjacks are you doing here? Well, anyway, since you joined me, I want to talk about my two big dogs I've been buying here in 2021. And I want to compare these stocks. And I've definitely gotten a lot of suggestions over the past 6 months or so for me to kind of compare and contrast these two particular stocks, being that these are my major buys for 2021. And these are two stocks I feel like are going to boom from 2022 to 2027. And so in this video, we're going to compare these two big dogs. I'm going to put them against each other. Tattoo Chef, Corsair Gaming. Yeah, I had no clue what to title this video here today, and I figured only my very, very loyal audience, you guys, would be interested in this video here today. So I'm glad you found this gem. And we're gonna look in depth at both of these companies. We're gonna look at a lot of numbers. We're gonna compare and contrast. I'm gonna give you my perspective on kind of how I view these stocks and things like that. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Thanks for clicking on it. All I ask in return is that you smash that like button. That's literally it. And also, just so you know, as a pinned comment down there, I'm going to basically have a way where you can text me any of your stock market related questions. Try to get back to a few people a day when it comes to that. So definitely check that out if you have any stock market related questions for me. Alrighty, guys. So Tattooed Chef, Corsair Gaming. As far as the companies go, right, one's obviously a food company, Tattooed Chef. The other, Corsair, is much more complicated, I would call it, because this is a company that sells gaming equipment, but a lot of folks end up using Corsair products who aren't even gaming, that just maybe might be much more casual users. Some folks maybe don't even game that much, but they still love to use the keyboards. It's quite interesting. Now they're getting into the monitor game as well. The company has even started to sell basically full-scale computers now, and then they also own a streaming company called Elgato, which sells everything from stream decks to microphones, cameras, and a lot of different products that are for the streaming market. They also own a brand called Scuff Gaming, which essentially makes custom controllers. So when it comes to Corsair, it's a much bigger business, a more diversified business, and I mean, we're talking about the amount of SKUs Corsair has between their different brands is absolutely incredible, okay? Versus Tattooed Chef, which basically just makes all food-related products. Now, when it comes to Tattooed Chef, they're getting into different product categories, right? It's more than just one-off meals. They're getting into family-style meals, pizzas, different items like that, and they should be launching snack-related products within the next, I would say, 3 to 6 months as well when it comes to this. So Tattooed Chef over time will build into a lot more product lines, but for right now, Corsair is just a much bigger business and much more diversified business than something like a Tattooed Chef right now. And Corsair has all the relationships with everybody you could pretty much ever want. I don't care if you're talking Best Buy, Amazon, Target, just about anybody out there. Tattooed Chef has just started this past year or two to make those relationships with everybody that's important in their particular space. So companies are at different scales. Corsair Gaming's $2.4 billion market cap on this company, which is, you know, not incredibly big when it comes to stocks, right? In stock market related companies. Forward P on the stock is 15, not high at all, especially in this type of market. Price to sales ratio is 1.2. Now, I'm just going to be honest. If you're just looking at this slide here, it is Corsair Gaming all day, okay? This looks like the greatest buy ever, and Tattooed Chef looks like you couldn't even consider the stock, right? Tattooed Chef trades at a $1.5 billion market cap here today. It has no forward P on it because a lot of analysts expect them to lose money next year. Now, me personally, I also expect them to either take a very, very small loss or make a very, very small profit. But needless to say, when it comes to TTCF, I do not see them taking any massive loss next year, and I also don't see them making any massive profit next year. It's going to be either a small loss or a small profit, in my personal opinion. But needless to say, yeah, when you're talking about forward P of 15 and then you're talking about no forward P, it's like night and day. Corsair looks like a better deal, right? Price to sales ratio, this is a trailing 12-month price to sales ratio. Very, very important, which is not usually a good metric to look at if you're talking about a hyper-growth company like Tattooed Chef. But trailing 12-month price to sales ratio is over 8 for Tattooed Chef, once again, versus 1.2. So if this was all we had to go off of, right, Corsair Gaming looks like a slam dunk, and it looks like I should be putting the majority of my money actually in what? Corsair Gaming, not Tattooed Chef. Now, when it comes to me, obviously, you know I've been putting the majority of my money in Tattooed Chef rather than Corsair Gaming. But based upon this slide right here, I mean, it looks like it should be inverse, right? And by the way, no pain, no gain. You know, that's just the way it is. I've found time and time again, a lot of my best stock gainers I've ever had, a lot of them I just went down on. As of Tattooed Chef right now, down about 3.5%. As of Corsair Gaming, down about 15% on that stock. So no pain, no gain. But yeah, if this is all we had to go off of, I mean, it's a slam dunk. Corsair Gaming all day. But it's not that simple, folks, and this is where I lose a lot of the value investors, because value investors, they look at this and they say, oh, yeah, price-sales ratio 1.2, 15, I love it. See this, and they check out, right? And they're like, oh, no, heck no, okay? Well, one of these is a value stock, right, with slight growth, and one of these is a crazy hyper-growth company. Look at the chef, Tattooed Chef, TTCF stock. Look at this. Over 80% revenue growth for this company expected in the December quarter. Over 60% revenue growth expected for this company in 2021. And next year, the company is expected to have 35% revenue growth. And don't be surprised at all if they blow that number out of the water, okay? Do not be surprised at all. I mean, keep in mind, they're doing a lot of deals with a lot of massive grocery store chains here right at the end of the year. And so they're going to have a full year in a lot of these big players. And yeah, that's going to likely push up sales in a massive way. Now, this is versus Corsair Gaming CRSR stock, which essentially has no growth in the December quarter. Analysts are expecting them to have a 0.3% decrease in revenue in the December quarter. Current year, analysts expect the company to have grown about 20% roughly. Next year, only 5.4% revenue growth is expected for Corsair Gaming. 9 analysts cover this stock here. So now we just flipped, right? Now this looks like Tattooed Chef is the greatest deal ever, and this is the most exciting stock to buy. And this is why you can't just compare companies on, let's call it trailing 12-month PEs, forward Ps, price to sales ratios. If it was that easy, I could tell you everybody in the world could be a stock market investor and a highly successful one. Because it would just be so, like, simple, right? It'd just be like, I just look at this metric, and if it's this number, boom, I buy it. And if it's this metric, I don't end up buying it. And then if this metric is too high, then I don't buy the stock, right? Nah, it doesn't work that simple, especially when you're talking about hyper-growth companies like a Tattooed Chef. Tattooed Chef, as far as growth, all day over Corsair Gaming, and it's not even remotely close. Now, both these companies have tremendous opportunities in front of themselves. When it comes to Corsair Gaming, remember, this is not just a gaming-related company, but it's also a streaming company. And as far as just the video game market size, I mean, it's going to grow exponentially over the next several years. And I don't have a streaming chart up here, but obviously streaming equipment is just taking off like crazy over the past couple years and should continue to for the next decade. So Corsair has massive TAM they're going after here. As far as Tattooed Chef, they have a lot bigger TAM long term, right? The gaming market is still a growth market, but it's let's call it it's older days than the plant-based food market. Most folks never even considered plant-based foods before like 2 years ago, essentially, and now plant-based foods is just on this crazy trajectory upward, where essentially the total global plant-based retail market size is expected to be around $162 billion in the year 2030. So if you look at it from this standpoint, Tattooed Chef is growing into a market that is just going to go off the charts, whereas Corsair Gaming is growing into a growing market, but that market is just it's older days, right? It's older days than something like plant-based foods. And so when I look at this, I say Tattooed Chef, in my opinion, has a much, much larger TAM to capture over the next 5 to 10 years. And keep in mind, they're in a great position to capture that TAM as well. But needless to say, Corsair is still exciting. There's still TAM to be had there. Now, when it comes to like how do customers like these products, from what I see, both are loved, right? Tattooed Chef, look at this. 3 of the top 10 items, including the number 1 and number 2 since launch in March of 2021 for frozen plant-based entrees, right? Number 1, number 2, they got it over Stouffer's, over Amy's, over Healthy Choice, and over these other brands. That's tremendous. You don't do something like that unless consumers are really liking your product, right? You don't do that. And when it comes to Tattooed Chef, they move crazy volumes. And remember, Tattooed Chef brand has started in Costco and Sam's Club. And I can tell you, in Costco and Sam's Club, the only way you're in those sorts of stores is if you're moving ridiculous volume. Like, if you're educated on what it means to be in a Costco or Sam's Club, those are all about moving ridiculous volume. As far as a grocery store, it's actually, you would think like it would be harder to get in grocery stores. No. Actually, the expectations for product movement, product velocity, dollar velocity in, let's say, an average grocery store, the expectations are ridiculously lower. Versus being in Costco, you need to be moving ridiculous amounts of volume at a Costco or a Sam's Club, something like that. And so when it comes to Tattoo Chef, people love the product. The product sells incredibly well, and that's just fact-based at the end of the day. When it comes to Corsair Gaming, fact-based. People love Corsair Gaming's products. When you look at everything they sell, from mouses to headsets to keyboards, just about everything that the company possibly sells. All the products pretty much get 4 stars, 4.5 stars on Amazon. Some even get closer to 5 stars. Like, you just, like, literally just type in Corsair Gaming or Corsair products, whatever, into Amazon and just go down the product list and you'll just find 4-star, 4.5 star, 5-star products, just, item after item after item. People love the Corsair brand and they're very, very loyal to that brand. Elgato, their streaming brand, guess what? That's following the same exact trends that Corsair is following. And if you type in Elgato, you're going to see countless products with 4-star, 4.5 star, and 5-star reviews on Amazon as well. So at the end of the day, something I love to see, especially with a consumer-based brand, I've got to see that people love your products. They respect your products. They appreciate your products. And at the end of the day, it's flat out both these companies do. Now, what I will say is Corsair Gaming has a lot more time on a company like Tattoo Chef. Like, no one ever heard of Tattoo Chef before, 12 to 24 months ago, right? So this is a new brand. So when it comes to this, I would give Corsair the nod here, just for the mere fact that they have a lot more years experience of people loving their products versus Tattoo Chef, still kind of the new kid on the block. Let's put it that way, all right? Now, let's talk about 3 very important things. These are not, you can't look at numbers and compare these when it comes to these 3 companies. I want to talk about innovation. I want to talk about the management teams. I want to talk about the shareholder base. Very important, okay? Innovation. Which company innovates at a higher scale? Wow. I mean, that's incredibly tough one to answer. I mean, honestly, I would have to give the nod to Tattooed Chef, even though Corsair innovates at a scale like not many companies in the hardware space I've ever seen, okay? The only reason I give it to Tattooed Chef is because Tattooed Chef competes in a product category, which is a food space, which there's almost no innovation, right? There's little to no innovation in food items. So you should never even expect much innovation. And yet Tattooed Chef's launched 50 SKUs plus just this year alone. And those will show up in stores. They're already starting to show up in stores, but those will show up in stores over the next, let's say, 6 to 18 months, right? And so they're innovating at a rapid pace. Corsair Gaming is launching product after product after product, and people are loving it. However, there's a higher expectation when it comes to being a tech-related company, whether you're hardware or software, right? And so for that reason, I would give the nod to Tattooed Chef. One other thing that I would love to see from Corsair Gaming, CRSR stock over time, is I would love to see them get more into software-related things and not just be seen as a hardware company. Because right now, if you think about Corsair, you're thinking about, I'm going to go buy a new keyboard. I'm going to go buy a new mouse. I'm going to go buy a monitor. I'm going to go buy a whole new computer in general. You're thinking about Corsair from that standpoint, or you're thinking about Elgato, which is I'm going to go buy a professional microphone or a webcam or a stream deck or something like that, right? And so ton of innovation on the hardware front, but not enough on the software front. And so that is something I would love to see personally from Corsair Gaming over time, is more innovation on the software front, so they aren't just viewed as a hardware company. Because I can tell you, if you're viewed as a hardware and software company, your valuation you can fetch on your stock is exponentially higher, let's put it that way, than just being a hardware company. 2, as far as management team, I would have to give them the nod here to Corsair. Not that I'm disappointed in the Tattooed Chef management team at all. As a matter of fact, I'm incredibly impressed with them. Incredibly impressed. They got the pedal to the metal. They're doing a great job. Sam Galletti, Sarah Galletti, Stephanie, all those folks over there. I'm incredibly proud. I would just give the nod to the Corsair management team, just because they have more experience. Not really experience as a public company, because both these companies went public basically in 2020. It's just at the end of the day, like, Andy Paul's been there leading that company since, if I recall, since the 90s, right? And so, talking about a super, super experienced management team that's been doing hundreds of millions or $1 billion+ of revenue for quite a while now. So management, I would give it over to Corsair. Now let's talk about the shareholder base for these companies. This is very, very key. Think about Corsair's shareholder base. You have, first off, the person that controls, or the fund that controls the most amount of shares, those have been interested in selling shares, right? That is a fact. We know that. Now, no one knows how many shares they want to sell, but it puts some sort of pressure on the stock. It also makes a lot of people fearful of buying Corsair Gaming, because the big dog, what if the big dog sells more shares and the stock price goes down more? So we have that element at play, which is, it's not a very good one unless that those folks over there at the Eagle Fund, what they should do is they should just come out and be very, very clear on what's their intentions with Corsair Gaming. I think if they were just very, very clear about their intentions for Corsair Gaming, I think it would be actually a huge help for the stock, because right now people are expecting the worst there. Like, they want to dump all their shares and send the stock to $22 or send it to $18 or something like that. And that makes for kind of a scary situation. Now, also, Corsair Gaming has a lot of long-term folks like myself that are going to be in the stock for the next several years and are expecting the stock to thrive over the coming years. But lastly, you do have a big group, let's be honest, in Corsair Gaming that is in the stock and playing it because of the short interest and some of the stuff that you see talked about on Wall Street bets and whatnot, where folks are figured, you know what? I think the stock could be a beast over the next 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months. And so I want to get in it for a short-term big pump in the stock, right? In a big gain. And so, that shareholder base, I like the long-term holders, but I really don't like the Eagle Fund situation, right? And the fact that they hold so many shares and they hold so much power over the stock, I don't like that. And I don't really like how many people are in it just to try to make some short-term money in it. However, on the flip side, we go over to Tattooed Chef, and this is a stock that does not have to deal with that sort of situation where there's somebody that controls 50% plus of the shares in relation to some fund or something that could potentially sell out. So I really like that. Also, I don't see a lot of people playing Tattooed Chef from a short-term perspective at all. I read through comments, I read through message boards. I don't see a lot of people like thinking, oh, I'm in Tattoo Chef for the next month. Everybody that I see in this stock is in this stock for years to go in the future. Years to go in the future. They're not interested in selling if the stock goes to $20, $25. Like, they don't care. They're in this for the next 5, 7, 10 years. And I'm seeing a lot more of that shareholder base emerge in Tattooed Chef, where it's people like me that are in this one for years to go in this because they believe it's going to become a food giant over the coming years. Not just a niche food company like they are today, a food giant over the next 5, 10 years. And so the shareholder base, I would have to give that nod to Tattooed Chef. I just like the shareholder base, and I trust the shareholder base of Tattooed Chef a whole lot more than I trust the shareholder base of Corsair, because of a lot of folks playing it from a short-term perspective who might just be in it for the breadcrumbs, right? And just trying to get some breadcrumbs and not going after the loaf of bread. And then, like I said, that big fund holding so many dang shares. I mean, that's just, it's a very frustrating situation overall, okay? But at the end of the day, you can see why I'm very, very interested in both these stocks and why these have been my major 2021 buys. And I'm not done buying these stocks. I'm going to continue to buy these over the next few months. Both of these stocks I look at, and I think they're going to be boom stocks from 2022 to 2027. I think they're going to go on some crazy runs. I think there's going to be some periods where they downtrend. I think there's going to be some periods where they're not doing anything. But overall, I think, over the coming years, these are going to be beast stocks. And I think we're going to look at these stock prices 3 years from now, 5 years from now, and we're going to be laughing and be like, remember when Tattooed Chef was $18 and then it's like $60 and $80, right? And Corsair Gaming, we're like, remember when we could have bought it for $26 and then it's going to be like $50, $70, things like that. I think that's what we're going to have happen. That's why I'm putting my money where my mouth is and investing heavily in these stocks. Hope you guys enjoyed a video like this where we compared these two stocks. It's tough, man. It's like comparing your kids when you're comparing these two big stocks I've been buying, putting a ton of my money in this year. If you're looking to take advantage of our free 7-day trial we have going on for the private stock group right now, check out the link in the description. I might also have that one as one of the pinned comments down there. Hopefully we can get you in there. Thanks for watching and have a great day.